Hello, welcome. You're watching Much Ado About Something, and today I wanted to share with you 10 challenges that I've had in the little more than a year that I've had a YouTube channel. And I'm going to start at the bottom of the list and work to the top. Now, I've been doing YouTube for a little over a year, and there's been a lot going on in this year. But my number 10 challenge is conveying my excitement. Now, I can be very excited, and people can barely tell that because I'm an introvert. And I do show emotions, and a lot of times the emotions are on my face, and they're not necessarily spoken. It's just my personality. And I can be very excited about something that I'm showing you, and sometimes you can hear that excitement in my voice, and sometimes you can't. So I have worked in this last year to try to convey my excitement about my subjects that I present to you in my YouTube videos, and that's a challenge that I've had to work with. And number 9 is my equipment. I have very basic equipment. Most of the time I film on my phone. I do have a camera, but it hasn't turned out to be the kind of camera that I need, and so I'm saving money to get a camera, and hopefully I'll be able to do that soon. But my equipment has been very minimal. Most of the little tripods and things I've picked up on Amazon. They're not top of the line. It's not a lot of money in my videos. But I do try to present to you valuable content, something that you can use if you're interested in that kind of thing. So I've focused more on content this year than I have equipment. And we'll see how things progress as to whether or not I get better equipment in this coming year. And number 8 is the space. I don't have a studio to make videos in. I make videos mainly in my home, out in my garden, in the front gardens and the back gardens. So the space is very limited. Donald and I have been in this house for a long time, and it's a very small house. We raised 3 children that are grown now with families of their own in this house. And it's been home for a long time, but it doesn't have a lot of space. I have a lot of interests, and I have 6 grandchildren that stay with me, during the course while their parents work. So it's just not a lot of big empty space or workspaces here for me to be able to do my videos in, so I'm just doing them in the course of my everyday life. So number 8, just having the space to present to you some of the things that I want to share with you it's been a challenge. Number 7 is budget. Donald is our sole provider. I am not retired yet. I could go to work, and hopefully YouTube will turn into a job for me eventually. So my budget's very small with anything that I do. But this is also in my channel, it's called Lifestyle Budget Friendly Home and Garden. And so I have a frugal side, and I'm able to share that with you in many videos on the budget friendly part of my channel. So working with this budget has been okay. It's been part of my content, so I don't mind that. But it's been a challenge when I want to present other things to you, and it would take outside of my normal household budget to be able to share that with you, because I would have to go buy something new or get some kind of resource that I don't have on hand. And so the budget has been a challenge in areas for me over this past year. And number 6 is doing everything myself. I am not a person that films people on a regular basis. I'm not a director or a stage setter. I mean, all these things that's required of you when you have a YouTube channel. You either just pick those things up naturally, you do the best you can, or you work on them. There's been some challenges in me trying to do everything myself and present to y'all in a way that's easy for you to understand, and a way that gets across the message that I'm trying to get across. And number 5, this is a challenge that I can say that I'm glad to have, because that means I've made it through. But and December 24th, New Year's Eve of 2021, I was admitted into the hospital. I do have a video that tells you the details of this, and I had COVID-19 pneumonia. So I was just hospitalized for a week, which is wonderful because, you know, a lot of people were in that hospital for a much, much longer. My little grandson's here. I'm going to have to take a break, and I'll be right back with you. My little grandson's here, so I may have to stop the video and help him if he needs anything. But I think I was on number 5, and that is recovering from COVID-19 from 2021. I have been diagnosed with long COVID, and one of the things that happened to me was brain fog. And so some of my videos over the past year, my train of thought is hard to catch. Now, I know a lot of that comes natural if you're not used to talking on a microphone, if you're not used to being recorded and speaking on a regular basis, then that's an art, a skill that you have to learn. And I did pretty good with that, but with the COVID, it's been a real struggle. My train of thought, I have to continually chase it down. And, you know, I'm still dealing with some of that, even after this time. And recently I've had a diagnosis of an impingement syndrome with my shoulder. And they said it came from that virus. So I've still had things over this course of the year, which I'll have to do a whole video in itself on, is recovering from COVID a year later, or, well, this is 2023, the beginning of 2023, so it's been a full year and a little bit more in my recovery, and I have really struggled. I had a hard time using my legs for a long time, and the way I worked through that was I made myself walk every day. I made myself walk as far as I could each day, and I pushed that, and I regained the use of my legs back. But the doctor said that my brain fog would be the same way. I would have to work my mind and exercise my mind to get rid of this, and so that's what I've been doing. But you can see some of that in my videos, the pausing, the trying to catch my train of thought, the just brain fog in general. That's been a real challenge for me, among other things that I won't go into detail here on this video because it's about my top 10 challenges of my YouTube channel, with having a YouTube channel for a little over a year. And so, but that's been a major thing to deal with right there. That's an unexpected, unbelievable journey that I had to go through in recovering from COVID. But I'll tell you what, very thankful to be able to be recovering. Very thankful for the opportunity to be back at home and to recover, because we've lost family members from this disease, and it beats the alternative. So that was number 5, is dealing with brain fog from long COVID. And number 4 is working around my family. You know, I have a husband, I have 6 grandchildren, I have 3 children, and they have mates. My family is very important to me, has been important to me all of my life. I love my family, and I try to do for them as much as I possibly can. And they're here. They're here in my workspace. So usually when I share videos with you, it's very rare that I have the time to share them with no interruptions, or that I have the time to share them with no family around, because I'm surrounded by family, and what a blessing that is to me. But it is also a challenge when you have a YouTube channel, is to work around your family. Number 3 is supplies. You know, to be able to show you these videos, you know, I have to have supplies and things to share with you, and to be able to do these things on a video for you. Sometimes I have resources for that, and that goes with the budget-friendly part of my video. I do try to work in my budget as much as I possibly can. What I really try to do is share with you the things that I've learned over the course of my life of taking care of my family, of being a homemaker and a mother and a grandmother. And so those are the things that I try to share with you. And I share with you my love of gardening, my love of herbs and herbal remedies, canning, preserving food, recipes. That's what my channel really is about. It's a lifestyle. I like to call our homestead here, which we're under a third of an acre, a little over a quarter of an acre, just a small lot here in the city. And we have on that small lot 2 gardens. We have the front flower gardens that I incorporate some vegetables into, the little side herb garden, perennial herb garden, and we have gardens in the back. And so if you watch my videos, you'll see some of the gardening channels love gardening, have a love of gardening, enjoy it. But along with that comes a lot of hard work. Gardening is a physical activity. We have to cut back what's overgrown right now. Right now in our garden, there's still a lot overgrown. Of course, I've had shoulder impingement, which is terribly painful. And it almost renders this arm almost useless. I am taking medication and therapy for that, hoping to get this thing improved without surgery. But I'm not sure how that's going to go. I'm going to do the best I can with that. And they say it takes 6 months to 2 years for this thing to heal, especially without surgery. So here I am in this predicament of having, wanting to share a lot of gardening with y'all, but not being able to physically do what I normally do. Well, this year, and some of the overgrowth in the winter, at the end of the gardening season for winter, I left a lot of that out there that normally I would have cut that stuff down and took it out of my garden. I left that garden out there, and it's dried up, and there's some dried up stuff out there. But instead of pulling those dry things and cutting those things off, like I normally would do, I burned a lot of that down in one flower bed. I didn't want to do that to all of my flower beds because I wasn't sure how that was going to work out for me. It was a new tactic that I did. I just burned most of the weeds. We have a lot of Bermuda grass here where we live, here on this lot. This development used to be tobacco fields until the developer bought this and built this development. So there's a lot of crabgrass and different kinds of weeds and that I deal with on a regular basis in my gardens. Even after all these years of working with them, I still have a tremendous amount of weeds. Well, instead of working physically harder, I tried to burn those out. Now it's getting too late to do that because there are things popping up in our garden, and I don't want to do anything to damage the plants and the beautiful things that'll be coming up here and that are coming up now and will be coming up here in the spring. So that's been a real challenge, is the supplies, is having new things to show you. Now you'll go to a lot of channels and it's shopping every day. It's shopping all the time. I cannot possibly do that. I cannot sustainably, I cannot frugally stay within my budget, and I do not have the space to really store a lot of stuff. I cannot shop like that. That's not realistic for me. I'm not able to do that with you, but I do share with you when I do shop. I share with you some of my thrift store finds. I share with you some of my grocery hauls. I just like to share those with you because I enjoy those. I love to look at and see what other people buy. What do other people to use? Now, our grocery hauls are a little bit different in that we don't buy a lot of processed food. We don't buy canned mushroom soup. We don't buy very much processed food at all. Occasionally, there are a few junk food items like chips and things like that because we have 6 grandchildren. But Donald and I, our basic lifestyles, we eat whole foods that come from gardens, that come from farmers markets and from other homesteads of people we know. We lovingly call our little homestead a micro farm or a micro homestead. It's not even big enough to be a mini. It's a micro. But we do a lot on this little amount of land, and I enjoy showing that to you. I enjoy showing you our little vegetable garden that's in the back, what we can get out of that. So we make the most of what supplies we have without a lot of extraordinarily expenditures. We don't do a lot of expensive shopping trips. You know, that's just not our lifestyle. Our lifestyle is budget friendly. It's working with what we have and producing more, you know, more than we consume. We try to do that. Number 2 on my top 10 challenges of my YouTube channel over this year is energy. Now, this is something that's probably not talked about a lot. I don't know if it is or not. I haven't really researched other people and how they feel about it, but it takes a tremendous amount of energy to have a YouTube channel. It takes a tremendous amount of energy to get everything together and present it in a way that you can understand it. So if I'm making jelly that day or I'm canning something and I want to share with you how to do that, I have to set up a camera. I have to clear out a space. I have to think about a storyline that I can present to you in a way that you might understand it. I have an Appalachian background, a Southern Appalachian background. I have an accent. I have to remember that I might say something that in a way that everybody might not understand. Not that everybody's going to understand everything you communicate anyway. You know, we're just all so diverse that's never going to happen. I'm never going to be able to communicate with everybody. But my target audience, I try to communicate with you in a manner so that you can understand what I'm sharing with you. And that tickles me because, you know, Appalachians, they have a different way of communicating sometimes. You know, we can say things that people might say, now, what do you mean by that? And so I always try to take the time to present to you in a manner, thoughtfully, in a way that I think that you'll understand. And I always try to keep it as basic and simple as I possibly can, because that's the easiest way for me to communicate. And I try not to, you know, use words that I don't think that you'll understand. So the whole energy of trying to communicate my situation, my thought process in a story, or trying to communicate with you my tips and things that I've learned over the year on any given subject it takes a lot of energy to do that. And then the number one challenge that I've had with a YouTube channel for a little over a year here, my number one challenge is time. And you wouldn't think that that would be the case. You would think, oh my goodness, you know, how hard can it be? Well, if you have a YouTube channel, you know how hard it is. I mean, you have to come up with your content. You have to be a creator. You know, you come up with your content. You have to design certain elements of that content in a way that gets across to other people. You have to gather the supplies and things that you need together to present that idea to other people. And it takes time to do all of it. You research. I do a lot of research on whatever I try to present to you. I can present to you what I know personally, and that's what I do a lot in my channel. My channel is a very personal channel, sharing with you, very authentic. I'm sharing with you whatever it is. If it's a story from my past, if it's something that I have done for years that fed my family or met a need in my family over the years, if it's a personal thing, I try to always be as authentic as I possibly can. And I think anybody that watches this channel knows that that is true. I try to respect diverse people in every way that I possibly can and still maintain who I am. I still appreciate the freedom to be able to be who I am and to make this channel personal. And it takes a lot of time to do all of that. It really does. It just takes time to research and to get together and present these things to an audience, to a targeted audience, and that's the people that are interested. You're my targeted audience is people that are interested in the kind of things that I present to you. And that is my lifestyle, budget-friendly, home and garden. And I have an Appalachian background, so there's a lot of that is into my videos. I love that heritage. It's a rich and a beautiful and sometimes a misunderstood heritage in that people, have long considered mountain people to be ignorant or to perpetuate ignorance. Say, if we say a word differently, and we keep saying that word even though we know that it is pronounced differently, but we say that word because that's how we grew up, and that's how we communicate with the people that know us and who are other Appalachians, and we don't change our language, we continue to say this word, then they may perceive that as ignorance. And it's not ignorance, because we may know the proper pronunciation of that word, but we may choose to say the words the way we were raised, because it's a familiarity, and it's also part of who we are, ingrained. It's how we learn to talk. And sometimes it can be perceived as ignorance, although it is not ignorance. I tell you, the Appalachian people, the resourcefulness, their artistic intelligence, in the things that they've made over the years, the things that they have been ingenious in trying to meet their needs without having to spend a lot of money, because most of them didn't have a lot of money, but there's many that did. There are many great Appalachians who have gone on to make this world a better place, and to share and to grow. But the Appalachian background sometimes is perceived as ignorance. Even an accent can be perceived as ignorance. And that, of course, is something that only people, that are intelligent can see through. They can see that there's more to a person than an accent, or more to a person than what they physically see. And so I try to value differences in people. It helps keep us well-rounded. It helps keep us growing and moving forward. And so I just am authentically myself, and that includes an Appalachian accent, and it includes simple ideas a lot of the times, because they just are better to me in a lot of ways. And I'll give an example for that. It's like a fancy $1,000 dehydrator. I don't have that. I don't use that. I've never had that. I've never used it. I have a simple dehydrator, and I very rarely use it. I might dehydrate my herbs the old-fashioned way, the way it's been done since the beginning of time. I might hang my herbs up to dry and just let them air dry. And I choose to do those things because those things have worked for me over the years. I like the properties, and I like a lot of things that come with doing things the simple way. And not only that, but it also encourages people out there that you can do it without investing a lot in it. You can try it these simple ways, and if it's what you like, you can continue to do it that way. But the number one drawback is time, is trying to find the time to get it all together to present it to you. Now, over this past year, a little over a year, I've had a lot of challenges. These are my top 10 challenges that I'm sharing with you today. And as you watch my videos, and now that you know what has been challenges for me, it'll make a lot more sense. I had a friend that watches my videos on a regular basis, and she's like, well, sometimes you stumble over your words a lot. I do that. That's part of brain fog. That's part of trying to do something that this year that I haven't done in the past. I've never sat behind a camera. I have no experience with sitting behind a camera and sharing things with anybody. So that was a new skill that I was developing over the course of the year. And it was also a challenge. I had some challenges in there recovering from a virus that had an impact on my brain. It's a brain fog. And I've worked very hard to keep myself well-rounded, to keep myself exercised, to eat right, to get through this, to get healthier and get back to myself. But it has been a challenge over the past year. And I looked back on the videos where I was in the hospital, and I made a short video to my audience. I wanted my subscribers to know. I just had a very few subscribers, but I wanted them to know that they meant a lot to me. I watched that video, and all that I have overcome in the course of a year, I cannot convey that to you. If you have not been through it, you won't understand it. So you will see the results of that in my year and a half that I have struggled, but you won't understand where that struggle's coming from. So, I mean, it's not for you to have to deal with. That was my struggle, and I wanted to continue to have a YouTube channel through all of that and present to you the best content that I possibly could. And that's what I've tried to do in this year, over a year of having this YouTube channel. And it's been exciting. I've had good feedback. I've had family that love to watch these videos, and it's been a way for me to pass on some of the knowledge that I have. I'm going to take just a minute. I never expected to get emotional talking with you about my 10 challenges, but here it is. There's emotion there behind it. There's been a lot of work and a lot of time and energy and a lot of poured into my channel over this little over a year and a half. Well, a little over a year, not a year and 2 months really, or a year and a month and a half that I've had this channel. It's just been a lot. I wanted to share with my friends and family. It's something my kids can go back and see. My family, like my chicken and dumpling video, how to make chicken and dumplings from scratch. I've had so many comments on that. I've had so many people that said, I always loved your chicken and dumplings, and now I can make them. I just go back to that video, and it helps me. Jellies and different things, different recipes that I've had, that I've done for years, I'm able to put those in a video. And then my friends and family have looked back, and then people that are my new friends have been able to watch those videos and say, now I'll make my chicken and dumplings just like that. And that's achieving what the whole purpose of the channel is to share knowledge and to share recipes and all different areas of life, tips on budget friendly and gardens, and being able to share, well, this is how I do it. And of course, I learn from other people the same way, but I have, tried and true ways of doing things. I've done them for many years, and they've worked for me, and I thought they might work for somebody else. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, be sure and check out the channel, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That's the business part of it. If I don't tell you that and you don't do that, my algorithm just goes down the hill. And I have by no means been a instant success on YouTube. I have earned it every step of the way. I've paid my dues. And I've tried to remember, Dolly Parton, what a great and successful country music singer and songwriter Dolly Parton has been. She's, really outstanding in her field. She's an outstanding, personal, accomplished person. Do I think that I'm going to be Dolly Parton at this age? No, I'm not even a singer or a songwriter. But in my skill, I am trying to look at other successful people and take pointers from them. For instance, she said in one interview that I watched her that she wrote songs about what she knew. Dolly Parton was from the mountains. She's, many of the things that she was raised with, I can understand it because people around us were raised that way. And, but she was writing songs like Her Coat of Many Colors, that song where her mother made her that coat from scrap pieces. And many of her other songs she was writing were coming from her personal experience, from her life, and from her heart. And those songs were great successes. But Porter Wagner told her, you have to sing what relates to other people. And when she wrote the song, I Will Always Love You, I mean, that song has been redid by countless other artists. And she said every 10 years it makes her plenty of money. But that song relates to more than just her coat of many colors, more than just her life experiences. It relates to people that all people can relate to, and that's love, the whole thing about love. That related to everybody, didn't it? And so when she started writing songs that related to everybody, she became much more successful. And how I apply that to myself is I can share with you what I know. What I know, my skills that I've learned here, and that's been the purpose of my channel, is to share those skills and to share with you things that I've learned. And maybe they're things that I've not known for years and years. A lot of times they are, but sometimes maybe it's stuff that I just recently learned. But I love to share. What I need to hone in on is things that affect most people. I don't, I'm an introvert, so that's a real challenge for me, is to connect on that level. So that's something that I'm working on and trying to improve in every area. My skills in this channel to be able to communicate with you and to create something that that you're looking forward to see. To create a channel that you say, I cannot wait for another video from Donna because I want to learn this, or I want to see how she does that, or I want to see what's going on, or see what she got at the thrift store. I want to create a channel that you look forward to seeing. And that's been my goal too, is to make a pleasant, enjoyable video that you can get something real content from. And I've struggled to do that, and to take the time to do that, is share with you some genuinely real good content that you can use in your life. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for letting me tell you about my 10 top challenges, and for taking the time to watch my channel. There's a lot of channels out there. There's a lot going on, and you could have chose to watch anybody's, but you chose to watch mine. And so I'm always thankful for that. Always thankful for my subscribers that have taken the time to subscribe and hit the notification bell, and to take the time to watch my channel. All the good encouraging words, all the compliments, and the just good feedback I get when I meet people that watch my channel. The pleasant feedback. It's just been such a joy. And I am putting in a place things to protect me from the not so pleasant side of YouTube, the cyber attacks and things like that. So I'm working on that, so that should this channel grow, I will be able to handle those things. And so I thank you for joining me today. I thank you for letting me share all this with you. And like always, until next time.